What's up, nerds? So they dropped this Penguin show on Max, and I did watch it, and I didn't do a review until now because I was just busy. Life is, I'm trying, I'm getting a little burnt out on this YouTube stuff, and plus, shows are like, they're not very good. But this one, I have to be honest with you, I did like it. It was a little slow for a little too slow for my taste. I wish it would. I hope they pick up the pace a little bit, but I did like it. However, I want to be honest with you. This really isn't like a Penguin show because this is the Penguin in name only, and he's not even called the Penguin. It's Oz. It's not even Oswald Cobblepot. It's Oswald Cobb. And so I don't like that because it just makes me go, this is like not my Penguin, and I don't know how to feel about it. There are some other things that I didn't really like, I did not like it. It's just, like Sofia Falcone in this, okay? So I like the actress that they picked for her, but they did, I thought they would pick somebody like Kitty O'Brien, because she's bigger. And in the comic books, Sofia Falcone is like built like a brick shit house. And in this one, she's like, hey, but like she's got the crazy eyes and everything, which is fine. But at the same time, I just go, it's not my Sofia Falcone. So I'm going to dive into this breakdown and everything, and I'll tell you more of my thoughts at the end. So let's do this sucker. Here we go. So 1 week after the assassination of Carmine Falcone and the destruction of Gotham's seawall from the Batman movie, Oswald, or Oz as they like to call him, and his last name is Cobb, is caught by Alberto Falcone, Carmine's son, and he's like the heir apparent, to the mob and everything. And Oz is recovering a stash of Falcone's valuables from the Iceberg Lounge. So this picks up right after the Batman, right? And the levee walls have broken and everything. And Oswald goes back to the Iceberg Lounge where he, was like the manager or whatever. So he goes back there and he like breaks down this little wall and he gets all these files on politicians and stuff like that. So he has them like in his pocket, if he wants to like blackmail them. And he wants to get so he can have a fresh start and everything. But he gets, caught by Alberto, who is trying not to do any drugs or drink or whatnot, not the drops and everything. And Oswald, he's all like, we need to celebrate. You're the boss now. And he's like, I'm trying to stay sober. And he's like, yeah, but alcohol doesn't count. And he starts doing drugs or whatever. And so they have like a little party. So Oz listens to Alberto as he explains his plans to revolutionize the Falcone drug operation. But when Oz reveals his aspirations to be a powerful and respected mobster, Alberto mocks him, which leads Oz to shoot and kill him out of impulse. So while they're doing this, Alberto is all like, my dad knew that you were skimming off the top, but he was okay with it because you didn't take enough to really make a dent, but you took enough to where, it made you happy and you were always loyal. And that's what my dad liked about you. And you were like, you got things done. But then, Oswald, the Penguin, he tells him a story about a guy that was in his neighborhood that did everything for everybody, did stuff for everybody. And when he died, they all threw like a parade for him or whatever. And then Alberto starts to laugh at him because he's like, oh, that's what you want. And the Penguin, he gets pissed and he shoots him. And I'm like, well, maybe you should have watched yourself, honey. So then Oswald attempts to dispose of Alberto's body and scares off a group of these like juvenile delinquents that are trying to steal the rims from his car. And he recruits one of them. His name is Victor, and to assist him. So then Oswald, he realizes he's messed up. So he's trying to get rid of the body, right? And he's carrying it down. He's like just throwing it down the stairs. It was pretty funny and everything. But then he goes out to his car, and these kids are trying to steal his rims. And I'm all like, oh, you guys are so stupid. And so he shoots at him, right? And one of them, Victor, who, by the way, the actor I personally did not care for, not very good, but whatever, it's fine. He takes him like under his wing, kind of like Robin to Batman. But you know, I don't know what baby penguin is called, but like a baby penguin to a penguin. And so he's like, you're gonna help me dispose of this body now. So Oz gets summoned and he learns that the Falcones plan to assume the control of his drug ring, but in another city. So he also, at the mansion, encounters Sofia Falcone, and she's been newly released from Arkham Asylum. Crazy. So then Penguin gets called to the Falcone mansion, right? And they're all like, we're shutting down the operation, you know, the drug operation. And Penguin's all like, no, we saved you know, a big chunk of the thing. Although the guy told them they only saved 30% of their drug stash, but he's like, we saved 70%. And then he goes, he's like, listen, I got this big. He starts to tell him what Alberto had in plan to revolutionize the drug that they were the drops to make it better, you know, because he's like, you know, everybody's always looking for that next high, the better high. So then he tells them Alberto's plan. And then Sofia comes in and they're like, no, we're shutting down the operation. He's like, all right. And he's like, you're like, you got 48 hours. And then Sofia stops him and she's like, she's sitting there talking to him. She's like, we should get lunch. And he's like right now? And she's like, yeah, right now. So they go to lunch and she's all like, you know, my brother visited me every day when I was in, or every week when I was in Arkham, because, you know, and I just thought I wasn't good enough. And he always told me I was good enough. I believe that she says it here. She's, no, she says it. Yeah, no, she says it here. And she's like, he told me his plan for the drugs. And I thought it was just between him and I. And he's like, well, this is a surprise because I didn't know you knew. And then he tells her about the shipment, which he got off his phone, Alberto's phone. And she's like, it's either really stupid that you're going to say this is your plan, or you already know he's not coming back. Which he does because he killed him. And then she's all like, it was good to see you, yada, yada, yada. So then Oswald plans to skip town, right? But changes his mind after being encouraged by his mother, Frances. So Oswald goes to his mother's house, right? Because he's planning on getting the hell out of town, right? And he says he's making his mom go and everything because they'll hurt her to get to him. And his mom, I did like this part with the mom. I thought it was touching, just because the mom was all like, and then I liked how, because he was giving her pills, and then I did like how she was all like, because he's obviously crippled, that she's like, what are you? Because she's like, you bribe me with gifts. What did you do? Did I teach my boys to lie to me? Is that what I did? And I'm all like, that's good. Because that's what my mom would be. Like, my mom would be straight up like, oh, we're lying to me now. Okay. And everything. But she's like, what'd you do? And he's like, he tells her, he's like, I killed Alberto Falcone. And she's like, why? And he's like, he mocked me. And she's all like, yeah, you don't laugh at my son. You don't laugh at my boys. She's like, you did the right thing. She's like, because she's like, what, you're a pussy boy now and everything. I was like, oh my God. That's more like my dad though. But I did like the stuff with his mom. So Oswald then visits Falcone's rival, Salvatore Moroni, right, in Blackgate Prison, offering to bring the drug operation back into Moroni's control. And Moroni is reluctant because, you know, Oz is like a flip flopper and everything. But I think he like thinks about it after Oz returns a ring that Carmine had taken from Moroni. Then Oswald gets this idea because he has the Moroni ring, because Alberto would ward on his finger because he took it from his dad on his pinky finger. And then Moroni had it. And they took it from him when they took control or whatnot. And he wore it around kind of like mocking the Salvatore Moroni. So then he goes to be like, hey, I got this drug plan going down. You could take it over and you could run the town. And he's all like, no. He's like, because you're a flip-flopper. How do I know? There's no way I can be able to trust you now that you're going, you know, from one side to the other, from, you know, back and forth. So it's not going to work. And he's like, here's your ring. Just think about it. Sofia later then captures and tortures Oswald, but is distracted by the sudden recovery of Alberto's body, which was staged by Victor to implicate the Moroni's crew. So then right after that, the Oswald goes to his like whore girlfriend, who is going to be his alibi. And Sofia and her thugs are there, right? And so he tries to run, but they end up, you know, getting him. and she starts to torture him. And so and it looked like it hurt too. But she gets one of the teens, and she's like, and she kills him because she's like, is he lying? And he's like, yeah, he's lying. And then she shoots the teen, and then she's all like, you're willing to let somebody die to save your own skin. She's like, you are a talker and everything. She's like, do you think I'm crazy? Or do you think, like my brother, that I'm worth more? And he doesn't get to answer, right? Because then a car smashes into the Falcone mansion, and she goes out there and she opens up the trunk, and it's her dead brother with the pinky cut off. And it says on the top of the lid of the trunk, it says payback. And then she's like, ah, and everything. She's screaming and whatnot. Oz is then released and begins plotting with Victor to take control of the Falcone crime family. And then later we find out, because they go to Bobby's or whatever and get some slushies where they do a suicide, which I'm all like, I'm like, you're so juvenile. And because they mix all the flavors of the slushies. And so it was actually Victor who, because they were just going to chop the, I can't remember. They were going to chop something off. They were just going to put something in the car, but he's like, the pinky was a nice touch kind of thing. And so they sit there and talk, and they plan their whole thing. And that was the end of the episode. And like I said before, I did like the episode. It's just a little slow for my taste, and I don't see this show being a hit among people, overall. I don't think it's going to do well in the ratings, just because it's so niche. And The Sopranos, they said this was like Sopranos, but with like DC characters. And I can see that, but it's not very DC to me. This doesn't seem like my Gotham. This isn't my Penguin. And I didn't like the Batman movie. I liked it right out the gate, but just because I was so, Batman crazed or whatnot. But I didn't like it, and I don't like it now. And I just really Colin Farrell does a great job acting. And I do think the woman, even though she doesn't really remind me of Sofia Falcone, she did a good job acting also. The only person that I think doesn't do a great job in this episode is the kid that played Victor. I don't think he, at least in this episode, maybe he does a better job later on. But overall, good episode, very slow. And is it like The Sopranos? I mean, yes, kinda. I don't know. I'm trying to I did watch The Sopranos, but I watched it way back in the day, so maybe I'll have to go back and rewatch it. But yeah, it's a good show. I would suggest watching it if this is your thing, but if you don't watch it, it's fine. You won't be worse off for not watching it. And I don't think that you'll be better off for watching it. But that's my breakdown, you guys, and review of this episode. At a 1 out of 10, I'd give it like a 6, because it wasn't great, but I would say it's like the prestige TV, but again, if this is your thing, then I would suggest watching it. But if it's not your thing, you're fine. All right, guys. Well, tell me what you guys thought about the episode. Did you watch it? Did you not watch it? Did you like it? What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite character? Are you like me and you're like, it was a good episode, but this isn't my Penguin? Or are you just like, not interested? Or did you not like it at all? But tell me what you guys thought. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.